to make sure that, yes, I am going to start on time. I think that's what I'm going to start doing, so I'll usually, not always, but usually post something in chat right before the stream gets started, whether it's 10 minutes, 5 minutes, 3 minutes before the start. I think that would be something I should do. But as we get into this first run here, as I also look at the scoreboard, Ziktas, 7th Curse, character exclusive, random item, Toshiaki, and we will start our run. So, back to World of Horror. For those who don't know, yes, Princess Maker 2 Regeneration just came out. Despite, things that you may think about it or not, also, you know what I didn't do? I have some audio things in the background. That's why you might have heard me for a second. Second, strength, light, knowledge, dexterity, and maybe a second mystery check, but we have the second encounter check, so please, Jordan, in both in present and past, please, for the love of everything, remember things. Also, I need to toss something over here, but the legal den thing and a thing. I might as well just do this, actually. I don't know why I'm making it harder for myself. Let me see. So I have, my own stream is playing somewhere in the background, and that is on me to, make sure it's all handled things, mostly to check on the health of the stream, but also, as I'm sitting here next to a drink, just so that my voice doesn't break in the middle of the run. Making sure everything's okay. If there's anything else to say, I'll say it during this stream, but in the meanwhile, let's focus in on this, because I think I'm pretty sure I have a score of 4. I checked earlier, so... Bulletin, mermaids, footage of painting Akamanto. Let's get into Bulletin now, and let's finally go. We are on the 7th Curse background, so hey for the funds, I'm still going to prepare once. Can't stop me. But preferably, I'd like to look. I didn't mean to do that. I meant to reroll here. We're Toshiaki, so it doesn't matter. But, well, it kind of matters, but you get the point. We are on Ziktas, so we will die at 42% Doom if we don't get leadership and or a strength increase, but I need this weapon as well. We'll go consistent here, and if we end up dying, well, we end up dying. It might look like it's going to happen, but we have Monument as well, so for the moment, we're okay. I just can't run into something like, say, Totoro, because then that would really, really not be as great. But we'll see. You can store this first note while we're loading here, but I can't click properly, and few years of World of Horror under my belt, still don't know the exact placement of the storage button. Which does mean, yes, I am turning my brain off too much, and I need to start focusing. Why do I do this to myself? We lowered Doom there, we're still going to lower it some more through the Monument. We have the funds, the reason, and the stamina, for the moment. I don't remember if we have Vigil. We have Bulletin, footage, and Akamanto coming up, so really, I guess I'll police station the downtown for now, but if we have, like, Vigil or something, I'll need to make a mental note to remember that. I have not run into a single enemy yet, but that's fine for the moment. And completing each mystery in under about 20% Doom isn't impossible, but at times it can be hard because RNG just decides, hey, time to increase Doom, and you're just like, okay. You or me are just like, okay. You or I. Yeah, you and I. Grammar? Grammar. Anywho. I think I want to do this. It would be nice to get this. Oh, I didn't even equip the bookstrap. Oh no, I do have the bookstrap equipped. Anywho. 70%? Do I want to do this? I want to do this. I'm gonna do it. Part of it is Ziktas is lowering my stats, so I feel like I should have gotten a bit more, but again, I'm missing 1 point of perception, so... Not that I remember that threshold, I really don't. I only remember perception plus bookstrap would probably be, you need, I think it's 5 perception? If I had to guess, it's 5 perception. I don't know if I'm right, though. I guess we'll find out. Fetid Fumes, that absolutely will throttle this run, but for the moment we're okay. Mermaids and painting. So yeah, we do have forest and mansion investigations coming up, but that will happen after Akamanto. So at the end of Akamanto is a school investigation. Nice 12 roll, by the way. So at that moment I should switch the police patrols to the mansion. I mean, I could switch them now, but we should be okay. Yeah, our stamina looks low, and for all in... No, actually, we can't rest, because if RNG goes badly, I'm going to gamble against myself and say that I need the thing. Now, that being said... Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. We can level up again before the end, or before we die or something, but... This is a bit... Yeah, this is very unfortunate. We should be able to kick here? It's not guaranteed, but we should be able to kick here. And if we hit this kick, we should be able to get out in one turn. Random item stats, I forgot, but thankfully... I think this is a slower... I feel like this is a slower army knife, but maybe I'm wrong about that too. Oh, what am I gonna do? I'm taking a sip of water, by the way. And by a sip, I mean a big gulp. Sorry, excuse me. We have to take the reason hit. I would like to get out of this forest soon. But again, I need to get this right. Luck check, please. Nope, we died. Well, what I can show you now is that my score is reset, so... What a great start to the stream. That being said, not playing World of War for a full 2 days would kind of throw a hamper on things, but let's... Just to show the point as I update the scoreboard, before showing you the scoreboard, yeah, we're at a score of 0, so sadness, but what happens, happens, and what happened has already happened, so no going back, only moving forward, and back into another run we go, as we get into Scars All Perks Jury. Yeah, I was about to say like Mimi or Miku, I don't know why. We do have protective carvings to start, might as well cast that. Yes, we're on Scars, but some enemies do 3 damage out the gate on Harbinger, so this will help. If we have Kana as well, though, we'll see what we do. Charisma, Takshisan, Knowledge, Strength, Second Mystery, and maybe a Dexterity check, but we're Jury. We can build into Strength or Perception here. For the purposes of the Legal Den, I will do Perception, but... As of recently, I have not run to Ward, but the moment you get Ward, you do really... Well, I feel that, at least I regret not taking the Illegal Den for the Hospital Pass. But, again, depends on what actually happens. In this case, we do have Ward, Coma, Nails, Footage, Metamorphosis. So we have a lot of hospital encounters. In fact, I should probably just do this now. That being said, we're not taking as much damage, thankfully. We still need a weapon. And in fact, this is going to increase my horror progress by quite a lot, but we need to, in my opinion. So, without further ado, we'll take the Out of Funds event in the face. Downtown and Hospital, but... Downtown is maxed at that level, and off we go with 36 horror progress. Well, we should be able to comfortably hit 2 to 3 level ups, which would really help because we're on an all perk run. And then we're on Scars with protective carving, so let's see if we use the stamina right. Because if we're taking more damage from events, then we should not cast protective carvings, theoretically speaking. But we'll see. Scars, the danger is the dangers are the events. You don't know for certain if you are going to succeed a lot of your events or fail a lot of your events. Failing a lot of your events obviously absolutely tanks your HP and is the primary source of death on a Scars run. Whereas obviously encounters you're taking less damage, so you are taking less damage. That being said, I'm increasing my Doom by a whole lot, but it's not like my stamina or reason are any higher anyway. For the purposes of leveling up, yes, I should not be increasing Doom here, but our reason is at 2. Let's try not to die. No point in leveling up if we end up dying. So Ward into Metamorphosis at least to look for levels. We will be able to level up here. Unfortunately, we took a lot of damage for that. But Core Strength, Doomed already. I would like Doomed already, but all of these perks are good. Core Strength is objectively better, but me being me, I'm going to take Core Strength. I'm going to take Perception as well. we want the... We want to be able to prep attack eventually, especially if we had taken core strength, but we didn't. So I made the conscious choice there. Nice 8+1 roll there, by the way. I really appreciate you being nice to my stats. And by that, I mean, I don't. But in the meanwhile, yeah, we get close to a prep attack. We don't need to in this encounter, but we will need to eventually. When we need to go all out and we cannot brace, so... Yeah, I need about 2 more perception here because we don't have random item stats, so I know 9 perception is the tipping point here, but... Depends. I think this is our second encounter, right? Why am I going crazy? Anywho. I'll do my best, is what I'm saying. As we move on. Now, I would like to hit this. No, these are guaranteed. I'm going crazy. I'm thinking of something completely different. I'm also keeping an eye on other things in life as well, just in case. But those would be emergency times. Hiroyuki Mizutani, 1 stamina. Yeah. So the restless bonus plus extra stamina, technically meaning I can take more damage here. But all things considered, I don't think I need to. I get really close though to having to do a no handcuff. I guess I can option select this. Yeah, we can option select this. So what I mean by that is, if I don't hit the second attack, I use the handcuffs. If I do, then I don't need to use the handcuffs. That's a real option select. Sometimes I use the phrase option select in a very vague way. That was actually an option select. Hey, adrenaline, by the way. And now we take strength, because we should definitely be able to prep attack. So now I care about my bracing. And while we're here and healthy, we will take experience, but more importantly, now we can definitely take metamorphosis. This is the ideal situation for what I explain when I say I'd like taking metamorphosis later rather than sooner or at the end. I like taking it a bit sooner and not as my last mystery because, well, on your last mystery, the damage has been increased on top of all the HP scaling. And for the... Oh, nice 10 roll, by the way. But I want to take it later so I can level up and possibly get perks. In an all-perk jury run, you are gambling in the end. But again, in this reality, the gamble paid off. We're going to level up again, by the way. But we might need to heal stamina instead. So... Yeah, now... Yeah, we're going to take deduction in hopes that we can level up at least 1 more time. But we'll see. A dog is excited because someone is outside. The dogs basically see me most of the time, is what I'm trying to say. Also, we can go all out, kind of. Oh, we get really close though. If that's the case, I might as well try dodging. If I miss this, I'm gonna be quite sad. This guarantees the next turn. We didn't dodge, but at least I guarantee this turn. And away we go. Will we need to use the sewing kit is the main question here, but I think on top of anything weird... Yeah, because the meat horror is capable of doing some weird math stuff to me, but I think I should be fine. Yeah, I should be fine here. 20 damage, reliably, pretty good. And then we get to level up quickly. We'll hit this before we do it. Okay, we're just Omega Alpha Jury. Fast Swimmer, Adrenaline, and possibly we could have had Core Strength. I didn't know I was going to get Adrenaline and Fast Swimmer back-to-back, but we did, so... Now my main worry is... Oh, that's right, we have nails. We shouldn't... We're perfectly fine. Scars on top of the thingy, so I think what we instead want to do is take footage now, because no matter what happens in nails... Although we'll be taking guaranteed stamina damage through the killer events of nails, the specific nails events, we should be relatively fine. If we run into Rumaghost though, we're running, by the way, if we can. Instead though, we get to do this. So yeah, we get really close again, but for the moment, might as well go for a dodge. And again, for those who don't know, your levels do increase your accuracy, so the higher level you are, the more accurate you will be with attacks in general. So we can't run into any more mansion encounters, but if we run to, like, Cadaver Theater, I was about to say, then yeah, that was... We don't have to do another forest investigation. Whether or not that's going to be a good thing is usually going to be a good thing. You do get rid of 3 investigations for the price of 1, so at most, you lose, or you save yourself on 2 events, on investigating 2 forest investigations. Period. Nothing much more to say about that. Parting gift, fast hands. I mean, I could parting gift Hiroyuki. Probably should. There's not really anything else I could do. After he does his thing, so... Because the last time Hiroyuki will do his effects is at the end of the last mystery, so we might as well let him go after that, or send him in an enemy. You could do that too, but... For the moment, we're fine. I would like to level up one more time, by the way, but I took the Doom for a reason. Because I decided to. Fame as well, we don't really need that, so instead I'm going to take My Weird Collection. I could also what am I trying to say? Opt to do something. I got bamboozled by the thingamajiggy, the... What am I trying to say? Road's closed, road's closed. So I'm kind of thankful to myself for not... not taking footage of the last. Anywho. We are in Nails now, though, but for the most part, we should be okay. Our Doom is going to kind of climb at this moment, but we should be okay. Now, if we get Frostbite here, would not be as great. But for the moment, we'll trade Reason for Stamina because we have Doomed already. Now, I don't want to fail this upcoming event, but while we have the Stamina, we might as well try to run. Because if we fail, while we lose more Stamina than just agreeing, we get to heal Reason. That is the power of Doomed already. And then the Horror catches up, and I forgot to level up, but that's fine. Level 7 is not normal, by the way. For me, anyway. But, yeah, it's a whole thing. I can't even just drink this wine bottle if I so choose, but should be fine for the moment. We took penalty damage, but Doomed already, so we took less Reason damage. We are continuing to take Reason damage, though, but for the moment, we're fine on Reason. And yeah, we're just going to handcuff this. Oops, never mind. I'm just going to do it because I flubbed on clicking on the handcuffs. So we get the Gruesome Totem as well, so we're definitely fine. There's no way we should die here is what I'm trying to say. And if we do end up dying here, it would be really... Oh, also, I forgot to drink this wine bottle, but again, we should be fine. We should have more than enough stamina and or reason to survive this run. That being said, I will still bring the Gruesome Totem with me. I can equip it. 7 max reason is more than enough for the lighthouse, but we should be able to survive. But just to be sure, we're gonna just do that, and off we go. So we fail that. We don't have a light source either, but first is Takshi-san. Or just Takshi if you want to be rude to him. Because he's stopping you from stopping the world from ending. But anywho. Sorry, I'm checking something really quickly because I had to check something. I do have regeneration pulled up. just saying it outright. But it's not like I'm really doing anything. I am still focused on this stream. So, but obviously if I'm doing something on the side, yes, my attention will be split somewhat. But as we get a score of 1 here, we will move into our next run shortly. But boy, yeah, it's an Ath run, but because it's an Ath run, I fear for doing the other old gods and what I'm gonna get. But let's find out now as we get into Ygothag, World of Horror, character exclusive random item Kyrie. We start with Book of Gore. So that's a good thing to see, but it's not guaranteed. So, second mystery, strength, Takshi-san, light, knowledge, and maybe a charisma check. I'm going to build into strength regardless. So we're leaving the hardware store on. And I accidentally healed reason because I'm misclicking for some reason, but you know what? That's not the worst mistake to make. Bulletin, teacher, footage, vigil, scissors. We're gonna take scissors now, and if we get timeline A, we're going for the scissors. We're on timeline B, so 5 claps instead, but at least we learned the ghost ritual. But we do want to equip a wooden bat because we have nothing else. Ranyo got that, so Doom should be a bit... Our Doom is going to increase, and I think we have like 2 out-of-town mysteries, so hopefully it's not going to increase by too much. Because while Yogatag is directly a Doom increase, other gods can do theoretically the same with effects that hurt you, the player. Which is a heck of a thing to think about, but as we roll on 85-65 or 75-75, the real question is, do I believe in hitting 75% 4 times? That's what we're really looking at here. On average, you're probably going to take 6 stamina damage, that's why we're going to just run here. Because if I rest 3 times to heal back that 6 stamina, assuming that I can heal 6 as well, that's a 9 Doom, and it's not worth it. Well, while we do get experience for the moment for doing the thing we do, but it's I promise you it's still not worth it. We have Book of Gore too, but I don't want to gamble on that. I think we're just gonna take Vigil next. Yeah, we're just gonna take Vigil next. That way, if we run to Room of Ghosts, we also know the Ghost Ritual, but yeah, our Doom is steadily increasing, and we don't have a proper weapon. A wooden bat, it's a weapon, but it's not the best weapon. Or it's not even a good weapon, in my opinion. Too slow. We can review it while we're waiting here. Force damage is, you know, the bare minimum. 100 speed is way too slow, though. And then 75% accuracy is quite good, but you're usually... The accuracy threshold is usually not that low, where you don't need to go do 3 attack boosts all the time. Sometimes you do, but most of the time you don't need to do that in particular. The Ghost Ritual is clap, clap, bow, clap, clap, by the way. Let's take some experience and move on to... Yeah, Vigil. If you get roads closed, this is a bad roads closed run anyway. So it's not like I do anything too fancy by getting a thing. I was going to say a thing and I forgot what I was going to say. Take the materials, by the way, and we get a mangled hand. So, yep, definitely don't want to fight if possible, but I don't know if I have that choice. It's up to the game to decide. 3 claps at a bow. I almost did 2 claps because I was thinking about the Ghost Ritual. And if it were possible to fail due to doing too many ritual steps, I would have failed there. But in the meanwhile, we're still fine. Let's grab this meat cleaver and move on, by the way. Are we on a random item stat run? I don't know why I forgot, but in the meanwhile, we'll equip something arguably better than the wooden bat. I don't think there's much argument. I think it is better than the wooden bat, but that's for me. I don't know the truth, but it would be nice. Yeah, it would be nice to hit. I guess I'll go for it. We're not losing too much Doom if we get smacked around by this cult member for a moment, but would be. I mean, I might as well gamble here. The chance of missing 2 of those 4 attacks was quite low. So on we go. I need to remember that I have Book of Gore, by the way. I do forget about my spells from time to time, but that's why I kind of cycle through all these screens once I reach a point where I'm like, oh, I'm kind of stuck here. I'm gonna say I don't need the wooden bat and level up now. We'll take Ghost Connection for the big RNG play. Second Sight is the more consistent pick, but I'm gonna gamble against myself for the moment, as I fail to gamble correctly. So, there is a good chance that we take a lot of damage here. Especially since the Pillar Vampire can drain HP, which means even if I hit 6 attacks in a row, yeah, I might be taking a lot of... Yeah, we're gonna run here. I am losing out on a lot of experience, but I'm worried about my Doom, so we get Ashen Contract as our random Ghost Connection spell. And off we go. We don't need to refill the bottle because we're topped off on stamina, and into Teacher we go. So, that being said, if I had fought all those enemies, I probably would have been able to level up, but that's not what happened. So, and arguably I would have been dead beforehand, so I think it's a good thing I did this, but let's see if I guess correctly. So what do I want to do here? I probably want to do this, right? This encounter I'd probably be happy to take a bit more damage in. I gotta take damage somewhere eventually, but we're still going to go for... we can't even go for that, never mind. I guess we're doing this. And then we swing really hard. I mean, I should trade stamina. I'm gonna trade stamina here. Before we prep strong our way out of this encounter. I never set the police stations to anywhere, did I? No, I did not. So where do I want, though? I don't know at the moment, so I'm just going to do the village investigation. And I'll take a sip of tea. Because I have tea sitting right next to me. Not anything fancy, it's just tea bag with water, but... things... Oh! And yes, I do put my cup on a plate, but that's more for the protection of the electronics around me than the art of drinking tea itself. Alright, rehydrated and restored. Away we go. Sorry about that. Again, I need to take a drink. As you've noticed, I've been coughing a lot less recently. I think the tea is helping, but that's a me-specific thing. Please do not take this as medical advice. That's just what I see from it. Also, the fact that I haven't visited the police station means I can't handcuff this encounter, but it's not like I need to. As I put the sensor on screen really quickly. But you know what I can do? I can brace here, and then we should be fine. I did not put the sensor on screen, by the way, because you know what I didn't do? I didn't do this, so it should be on screen now, but let's make absolutely sure as we do our... Well, let's guarantee this. There's no reason not to guarantee this. We can't even do prep strong, but anywho. We'll move on to this. So we don't have 6 strength. Oh, we have a mangled hand still. That's why I'm still taking so much damage. Well, hopefully this doesn't count. We're gonna find out. We can't brace, so we just have to go for it. But I don't think this counts for mangled hand. What we could do instead, as we cauterize really quickly... No, we don't have enough things to throw you out, so we just have to take the 6 Doom to the face here. Going into our 4th mystery with 41% Doom is quite great, but... all these injuries, on the other hand, kind of bad. Minor, major injury. So we might as well visit the doctor's office to take care of both. And if need be, we will... sell the painkillers, is what I'm trying to say. I didn't know what I was going to say for a moment. Also, I guess I still have the sensor on screen. Sorry. Should be taken off now. I mean, I should just check to be sure, but it is off now. And away we go. So, footage and bulletin left, and we don't have roads closed yet, but we'll take bulletin now. That way we could get rid of a max threat level village for the moment, while we take these handcuffs. Oh, pain. So let's see here. We'll do the forest investigations in a moment. Just making sure that we're perfectly fine. Also, I was supposed to visit the doctor's office. Did I visit this yet? No, I did not, right? So we might as well do that now. I can start re-rolling for spells, but more importantly, I want to do this. So we're not going to sell the painkillers. I guess we're just going to do this. And then we will get rid of both of these. That way, we're not taking stamina damage. A bunch of stamina damage. Really, just a bunch of stamina damage. No reason for it. But yeah, in the meanwhile, let's do these. We really don't want to fight the thingamajiggy. What am I trying to say? The bulletin, if possible, or avoid the bulletin. Those endings are still going to hurt you, but for the moment, Forest rose to max threat level with that threat level increase, but hopefully we should be fine. No, we have footage. We're not fine. We're not fine. We don't want to take out Oh my goodness, we have... if we get to the thingamajiggy, if roads close, then we are in a bad situation here. We could be in a bad situation here. Now, I do have pseudo-infinite healing, so a monument visit is looking like it's going to happen. But for the moment, we'll make use of the fact that we have 8 knowledge to do a 2-turn ghost... Oh, we know the ghost ritual, by the way. I don't know why I did this to myself. Anywho, that would have allowed me to level up, but I'll try to remember later. I really forgot about that, by the way. Did I run to 2 ghosts so far? I also forgot my second encounter, so we're in a bit of trouble now. We are in a bit of trouble. We can hold on to these spells in case we get self-therapy, but for the moment, we'll see. Another bottle would be interesting to get, but it's not like we need the charisma, so we'll take the stake instead. And into the lumpy officer fight we go. Can we even do this? It doesn't look like we can. So we're definitely gonna need to cast Book of... I mean, I could try to cast Ashen Contract as well. I think not Zektas. Yoghathag has just been stalking me. I don't want to spend 7 Doom here, though, so yeah, we're just gonna do this. Oh, really? Badly bleeding? It's not like we can do anything that much better. This barely does 13 HP if I do Prep Strong. I can't even throw a Hail Mary with 2 attacks. It's not even a Hail Mary either. It's more like... What is it more like? I'm losing my mind at the moment. Do we really have to cast Book of Gore again? If I'd taken the wine bottle, I wouldn't need to think about throwing the empty bottle, but in the interest of making this an encounter I can survive comfortably, I'm going to recover stamina before doing the... Why am I doing Desperate Struggle? I mean, I might as well, right? No, we don't, because we want to brace first. I'm going crazy. I'm actually going crazy at this point. So we do this so we can get the lumpy officer low enough. We get a pair of handcuffs from this, but I don't know if that's really what I want. But it's all we're gonna get as we defeat the lumpy officer and move on. We do get self-therapy. Second Sight would help as well, but we're not really planning on fighting any Eldritch enemies in our near future, so if we're given one, that's the game giving me one. T. But let's move on. As long as I don't get roads closed, we're fine. Now, the question is, do I want to Book of Gore and visit the monument? That is the big question in my brain. I guess we should. We can't sell the handcuffs, unfortunately. Alternatively, because at this point, we might have to commit to Book of Gore recovery for the sake of just rushing through. Yeah, we're gonna try to rush through this. If we get a broken jaw, this run may be over, but we'll find out at that moment. Badly bleeding is also not guaranteed to happen, but with my RNG, it may happen. Did I take self-therapy, by the way? I did. So you got that getting furious, but can't really stop me. We're just gonna run on through and do our best. Now, credit where credit is due. The gold Yoghathag for me often increases my doom. You could try to play around Yoghathag. For me, it doesn't. It works out even less. So as we roll a 10 on strength, yeah, there's only so much I can take before I can't take any more. We could Ashen Contract this, but because I don't remember my thing, we're instead going to Mind Drain. We have more than enough max reason, sorry. So I can get this even lower. Now, if I have to cast more Mind Drains, we might be in a bit of trouble, but when it happens, it'll happen. It's likely we run into 2 enemies, though. With bad RNG, we run into 2 enemies. Nice 11 roll, by the way, game. Oh boy. I would like to help this dog. Oh, nice. Just pain. Book of Gore. Concussion, so we lose 1 knowledge for the mystery? Yeah. Right into the Dream Salesman, but again, just my dream. Now, it's unfortunate that we actually have 4 stamina here, but we're just gonna do this. We're just gonna do that. Yeah, probably should have just built into a knowledge weapon at this point, but I was already committed, so we do our best to survive, and you know what? The game's deciding that I don't get to get out, so, you know, just take it as it comes. Yep. 3 encounters in footage. This is not normal, by the way. Well, at least when I look at anyone else playing the game, but, you know, it is what it is, so we'll do this and get out. Please let me get out of this forest soon. I would like to leave. We could get another event here. Oh my goodness gracious. Stop rolling so high. Oh my goodness. We finally get out, but at what cost? If we had roads closed, by the way, we're dead. You know that, right? You, the viewer. An immediate roads closed would be immediate death. But you know what? Worse things have happened. We do have Book of Gore and a lot of reason healing, but let's just look at this lighthouse really quickly, because I don't remember my second encounter. Never mind, we don't have one. Thank goodness. We have the second mystery, and I think that was Vigil, because we did Scissors into Vigil. That's why we were in the situation we're in. We also have Takshi-san, but I think we could even go more audacious with our mind drain and do things. Now, you can go negative on HP in this game, so we do want to be careful, but yeah, we don't have the 6th floor, so we should be fine. And then we have Book of Gore as well, so barring a weird thingamajiggy, we should be fine. We're still going to take strength, but we did Vigil second. And we are still badly bleeding, but again, we have Book of Gore. Unless we get Broken Jaw, is what I'm trying to say. We have all these handcuffs and nothing to spare, but we can do what we can. Yeah, and then we handcuff. Oh, I went really wild with my hand-eye coordination there, but thankfully it worked out. We quote-unquote die here, but we don't. And away we go. It is possible to go through a whole run with badly bleeding. Someone has reported that. But as we complete this Yogatag run, yeah, it definitely could have been a lot worse. I didn't even use the hardware store, but I mean, I guess it technically didn't matter because I also didn't have Ward, ultimately, really. So without further ado, we will update ourselves with the Yogatag run, and we finally have a score of 2. But whether or not we're going to continue staying that way is a whole different story. So yeah. By the way, yes, because of where I live, especially in the US, I do have access to Amazon as we go on a tangent really quickly, but Goizo Medical History character exclusive Kana. And that means at times I do Amazon Prime, and that means I get to watch TV shows, so it's really interesting to watch some shows that came out on that. Knowledge, Dexterity, Second Encounter, Jordan, Takshi-san, Strength, and maybe a second mystery check, but just assume we have both. We're gonna build into knowledge, Strength though. Nothing in the bath, Kana things, and away we go. So, Doom is the primary concern here. We are on Goizo, so resting is probably just gonna be as bad, but I haven't really crunched those numbers yet. We do have both hospital mysteries, by the way, so maybe I did not want to do what I did, but it's too late now, so we don't have the illegal den. So hopefully, instead, we get the monkey wrench, but we'll see. So, yeah, I think this is... Are we on normal? I'm going crazy. Anywho. Oh, wait, I could sell the medical kit, but Kana with certain injuries is not going to work out well for me. So instead, we're going to do whatever we can to make sure we stay as healthy as possible, knowing that we're on Goizo and we are Kana right now with medical history. But again, that's an extra RNG consideration on top of the already troublesome journey I have ahead of me. That being said, that's right, I have to do this. So, maxed out low forest and village, high mansion. We have... I'm trying to calculate this now. Ward. And take a sip of tea. We have Ward, Coma. I thought we have another boss in town. I want to say it was Akamata. Well, at the moment... Let's just do forest. It's the safer pick. I entered this thing for the... At least we get a brick from this, so if we do run into... If we are on Timeline B Arms, we at least get to profit from it. But more importantly, we want to set the police patrols and get the handcuffs, but... I am trying to make sure we're okay. I don't want to spend any more doom, so let's just take this. Nice 12 roll on dexterity, by the way, game. I see you there, but... Right into a ghost encounter, so... We can take this to the face. That'll be kind of perfect, because we'll be able to be at 3 reason to desperate struggle anything coming up, but... We'll see. Because with Kana, you want a desperate struggle before you lose a life, essentially, here. Although we are getting our reason back, so never mind what I just said, but... We're on Timeline A, and we can move on. Roads closed, that's... You don't want to see that on a Goizo run. You really don't. Since we're on Goizo, what we can instead do is run from enemies, but... Let's see, Akamanto... Let's do this now, then. We can run from the friend here. That's what we're really trying to do, because we want to arrest Akamanto instead. Nice 12 roll on luck, by the way, game. Can you... Why did I do that? Oh, we have this as well. I completely forget about discharge summary sometimes. But, anywho. I really shouldn't. Hey, hundreds of hours in the game. Oh, we don't want... I mean, depends on the situation. We can't afford to lose the stamina now, so we can stick with it for now, but the main advantage to Blood Frenzy on Kana is if you're going to die anyway, you might as well throw out... Yeah, you're an aspiring model, so again, you're about to die anyway, but you throw out a big attack, and then you just throw out another big attack, because that 1 damage against you on Kana is not going to end the run, whereas damage against an enemy, your outgoing damage, is going to be important. So... Yeah, so let's increase Kana's luck back to 6. We don't need the handcuffs at the moment. We're not really planning to handcuff anything. If we run into double nurses, we're probably just gonna run. Because Goizo things. You know what? Oddly enough, we're gonna take leadership. No, what am I talking about? Not that I've set the schoolyard, but it would be nice, wouldn't it? Well, never mind. We're gonna do this. So, let's profit here for a moment, and I will. Yeah, we're just improvising. If anyone has any questions for me at the moment, feel free to ask. But otherwise, yeah, not much happening on screen. We're gonna improvise for as many items as possible, and it would be nice, wouldn't it? As I also take a sip, this would be a good time to take a break. So yeah. About 10 to 20 minutes of silence as I do things here. Oh my goodness, I didn't mean to do what I did. No! Okay, good. I should be throwing these things in the meanwhile, but it's gonna be a while before our storage tops up. I have some time to spare. I have some time to spare. Now, that being said, there are some things that I do need to take care of as this upcoming week progresses. But as you may have already seen, yes, I already scheduled the next stream for theoretically tomorrow. Again, nothing is usually set in stone, but that's not a really strong argument. And can sound like I don't have confidence, but when things happen to me, things happen to me. So I can only tell you that I am very, very likely to do a stream tomorrow, but whether or not I actually do it, I mean, there's if emergency happens, obviously I have to stop, but that's, anything can happen. Now that being said, I would like to do it because we're getting back into doing Batsus. And when I say Batsu, that sometimes implies that I'm immediately going to penalize myself, but what I mean, in my definition here, when I use it in this context, is that we're doing a stream where if I don't do something, I give myself a penalty in some way. Usually some silly video. Of course, I want to make it fun for myself to some extent, but there is a point to the suffering. So, by the way, the fact that I'm holding on to one reason for so long here does surprise me. In fact, I may even be able to defeat the friend in one turn. So I think that's what we're gonna do. That way we don't have to lose out on Do. But the question is, do I get to? Yeah, we do. This is 12 damage right here. I think the Lucky Earrings do 0 damage when thrown, but we shouldn't need it. Because then, what we can do is Desperate, Prep, Strong. Again, Kana has a really great risk management design in place in that you can stay at 3 or below Stamina or Reason. So you can do things like this, what you just saw. As opposed to other characters where if you tried that, the risk is obviously you just immediately dying because, yes, you lose the... you lose HP, and then you just end up dying. So off we go. So we're gonna do the same here. While the Doom increase from losing all the stamina would be bad, it's not gonna be, again, it's not the end of the run, and we're getting Akamanto's mask here, theoretically speaking. Oh my goodness, these 10 rolls and 11 rolls and 12 rolls need to stop though. Yeah, so we die on stamina once there. That's fine for the moment. Because we're gonna be losing more anyway. Yeah, I don't believe in myself there. We're losing a lot of stamina right now, this is what I'm trying to say. So, yeah, that reason decrease is fine. In fact, I may even want to die again here, but let's find out. Well, we do want to level up quickly here, but quick thinking into strength, and away I go. So I could opt to die once here. Because if I hit this, I don't even need to use the handcuffs anyway, or throw any items, so I guess we're going to do that. This is so we spent about 5 Doom and topped off our HP again. Not the highest, again, Kana has max 8 stamina and reason, but we'll throw Run Broken Bottle and one-shot Akamanto Human here. And yeah, pretty good, pretty good. But with Goizo and Pain happening, anything could happen, so let's stay on our toes. In our brain. We will take out the brick, just in case we need some extra damage. Again, I won't know for sure until I get into an encounter, but we do want to save 2 items to throw away for sailors, so let's make sure we do that. So we have sailors later on. Really, the only other thing to do would be to switch the police station to the mansion. I might want to do that for the sake of not taking penalty damage, so I will. But for the moment, we'll do this. And away I go. Yeah, this is the thing. I could handcuff her as well. Huh. Is there something else I could do? I feel like there was, but I don't remember. Yeah, we can do this, so... we'll use the handcuffs there. And we'll see if I made a right choice. I forgot my second encounter, by the way. I'm just shaking my head silently at myself. Oh my goodness. Well, it might have been the aspiring model, but I don't remember for sure. Certainly wasn't the dull nurse. I feel like I fought something else before that. Although Ward was my second mystery, so maybe... maybe. But it definitely... dull nurse was definitely maybe not the second encounter. It could have been the third. I remember this because I know I got the lucky earrings beforehand. Hey, by the way, thank you for the good luck. And yeah, we do want to one-shot this, by the way. Can we one-shot this is the question. 5, 3, 3, 6, 11. Oh, 70%. We're Kana, so we can afford to take this risk. I could also opt to maybe throw the box cutter, but let's see. Sorry you're super late, tennis season almost over. Yeah, don't worry about it. Don't worry about a thing. Perfectly fine. Yeah, no point throwing the box cutter. We were gonna do a thing anyway. 70%. Oh my goodness, of course! And I get a broken bone for this. I'm also on Blood Frenzy. I completely forgot. But again, that's fine on Kana for the moment. Let's just do this and get out, though. Did I sell the medical kit? No. So let's use... no, not use it, sorry. Use it through the inventory. Because I need those stats. I guess I should just equip the box cutter now. Yeah, I should just equip the box cutter now. That way, I don't have to deal with the pain I just dealt with. We're on Goizo, so... Yeah, we're on Goizo. So we just want to take the hits to the face. And in fact, we want to die once here, so instead, we're just going to take this hit to the face. Oh my goodness, I get so close to prep attack. But nonetheless, yeah, the point is we want to die here, once, again. So we get to top ourselves off. Before we plan to use the things like Monument, which I guess I should use once, so... Now, I don't want to use it again in case my funds all go away, but for the moment, we're fine here. Not because Olympic Games coming up. What's the score right now? We're at a score of 2, I think. Let me just check real quick. Yeah, we're at a score of 2. With Yogatag down and Ath down, and we're on a Goizo run at the moment. So possibly a score of 3, but we'll have at least 2 more runs on this stream, and that I promise. 99.9% sure of that. Unless an emergency happens. That's where probably the 1% comes from. But while we're healthy here and we can level up, let's continue on the Kana run. So we have Sailors last. Art Knowledge, I think we have 1 school investigation, I can't remember. Anywho. Our box cutter hasn't broken yet, but we are going into Sailors, so... Shutter and Ziktas and Azal, yeah, so the old gods I am a bit anxious, or I'm the most anxious about compared to the other old gods, has not happened yet. But, I mean, if we can increase our score, it'll at least get me thinking harder. Now, I did forget my second encounter anyway, but for the moment, we should be fine. We also ran into a Dullnurse encounter earlier this one, for anyone joining now or, you know, needs a reminder. 6 dexterity? Oh my goodness. I would get a fair dexterity check there. Also, it said my dexterity was at 5, so... Pain. But 7 charisma? Nope! 11 roll. I don't even want to visit the thing for curses. Stuff, your challenge to go through? I forgot about that. Please, if you could type that in chat really quickly to remind me what it is. That way I don't have to go back and look. Elsewise, I mean, I will just go back and look, but yeah. I know it has to do something with remembering the second encounter, but... If I could get that, I'll think about at least making a video, but hey. As the threat level increases here at the seaside. I did the thing, right? Yeah, I did. I didn't get the torch, so we should be perfectly fine to move on forward as Doom continues to climb up through the roof. But the important part is we're not going to fight a boss, although I can do this, so hey. So assuming we die twice as Kana and the thing... need to play World 4 full autopilot, but you need to remember the second counter miss. So full autopilot is essentially, well, for those who don't know, the closest you can get where you can believe me reliably, pretty much, is that I'm pretty much doing a speed run. I'd pretty much be doing a speed run and talking at the same time. That's how you know that I'm going full autopilot, but yeah. Otherwise, I mean, I can't have you believe that I'm actually... I mean, that's true for anyone, really, streaming and content creation. But that's why, I mean... I think it's usually apparent, especially if you're good at reading people, at least at their the gameplay. I did forget my second encounter, by the way, so we're basically gonna use logic and or guess. Toxi-san as well. But under the weight of all of these branches and broken bottles, I'm just wouldn't bet. Just making sure I'm okay. But if I do a really quick glance over, we should be fine. No sex floor, so yeah, we should be fine to just walk up this lighthouse. It's kind of counterintuitive, right? If you don't get to the lighthouse to remember the second counter mystery, there's no point. Yeah, there's no point, but that's part of the challenge, I suppose, is what I would use to support the challenge, I guess. Inspired model? Yeah, it was an inspiring model. And away we go. I should level up here, too. But yeah, the whole point is that... Also, we get to see Final Stretch as much. Even though it may not be the quote-unquote greatest perk. In fact, I probably would have wanted to use it here. It does provide a use for Kana, because if you're on character-specific perks, quote-unquote, then Kana will quickly see Final Stretch if you level up to 4 or 5, as I just am doing now. But, anywho. I was talking about something, but anyway. It's all to train me to remember the second mystery encounter. Again, second mystery is the easier one, far easier one. Sometimes I think I do forget or make a misclick, but it's the second encounter that I have trouble remembering, for obvious reasons. And it's very apparent why. Even though I may not be able to articulate it at the moment as we pass this Goizo run, it should be kind of obvious why. But yeah, but now we have a score of 3, and again, with 2 more runs, 3 runs if I decide to get salty, or just get salty in general, and we fail a run, then yeah, we might do 3 runs. But I'll just letting you know. Again, I want to do at least 2 hours per stream, but again, I guess 90 minutes is usually the comfortable amount. As we get into Katak, Scars, All Perks, Mimi. Perfect. Kind of a perfect combination, although Mimi Max Reason is a bit scary. But Katak Scars is kind of the meld you want, usually. One of the better combinations, on average. But if you're unlucky, bad things can happen. Light, Takshisan second encounter, Strength, Charisma, and maybe Dexterity? But we'll go full Strength here because we are Mimi, and Strength, while Knowledge is nice, we want the Strength. Just making sure we're not on random item stats. We are not. Or at least our Scalpel is at a level where we can use comfortably, normally. I forgot to use the library notes. We'll use it now. Flesh Regrowth. And off we go. So, we'll put on this varsity jacket. Never mind, I accidentally misclicked. Tracksuit, sorry, not varsity jacket. Festival, Arms, Metamorphosis, Akamanto, and Ward. Well, it's a good thing we have the thingamajiggy, the illegal den. The question I really need to ask, though, is whether or not I'll be fine for these bosses, but we'll see. Check this really quickly. Cigarettes would be nice, but I need this hospital pass more. Ward, something, something. And we have Metamorphosis, so maxed out level school, maxed out level seaside, high mansion. So we're going into a lot of maxed out level locations, is what I'm trying to say. At some point, but for now, not too many. But yeah, Scars is going to be scary for if you fail a lot of your events, especially as Mimi, and especially if, on average, you lose more reason with general events. But that being said, I should have known that I was going to take away reason when I failed that, but again, don't let it be said that at a certain point you can't strategize around Harbinger, or you can't strategize at all. That's a very not good general statement to make, because I roll a 11 on perception. But what I'm trying to say is that even if you know all of the events, what the game then becomes is kind of a puzzle, like most strategy games. Also, do I really want to do this, or do I just want to run? We have Akamanto now, so we're just gonna. Oh, we can't. That's right, Katak. Oh my goodness. Well, do we want to arrest Miku here? No, right? No. We have Flesh Regrowth, but the problem is we're losing a lot of HP here. But arguably, we can one-shot Miku though. Can we two-shot Akamanto? That's the question. I'm thinking. I'm doing some. So right now, not Takshisan. Akamanto. I don't know why I was gonna call Akamanto Takshisan. I need to think about this because it's important. I swear I'm not doing anything else. I mean, I could. I might as well while I'm thinking about this. So, we can take no damage in this encounter, theoretically, immediately, because we can prep attack, handcuffs. What that might mean is that for Akamanto... Oh, I don't remember the base HP of Akamanto. I want to say it's 24. Usually he's at like 25, 26, because I take I take Cape second or third mystery. That means that... And we're on Scars, so Akamanto is also doing 2 all. He'll be doing 3 all if I can do prep attack into a brace kick. The question is whether that's enough to desperate prep strong. If he has 24 HP, I might as well do some concrete math, guessing on his HP. 24 HP, I do 8 damage, he has 16 HP. I do a thing, nope, it's not enough. Unless I take a risk. The risk would be desperate attack. What are my odds? I think his power level is high too. Well, Don't come on Twitch, saw become affiliate, you need to stream at least 4 hours per stream minimum. I can strategize on Harbinger, but still RNG relying on news, so can you call it strategy? Yes, you can, objectively speaking. I believe anyway. I believe that's the objective thing. Whether or not that strategy works, again, just like I talk about video games, you're free to make video games at your leisure. Whether or not it's a successful video game, as to the definition of commercial success, is another question. So, the short answer is yes. The longer answer is... depends on your opinion. I'm really deciding. But if okay, let me calculate this otherwise. So, I can instead opt to take pretty much 5 damage, right? There's not really any other way out. Unless I go for a big... can I even dodge, by the way? No, I can't. Buffed action, by the way. And yes, I am making fun of dodge because it doesn't work for me. 50% rate. So if I do this... I could... again, I'll present to you the options and you can make your own decisions. Because then that allows me to do... if I do a kick, then I take 3 all damage and take an 80% gamble. I'm calculating. Because I'll likely to be able... will I win a about... yeah, will I win a 50-50 coin flip? The reason why I'm saying that is because I'll likely take around 2 more risks. I guess I might as well, right? No. The thing is, I don't know if I'm going to be taking more risks in the future. So right now it's an 80%. I guess that's what I'm going to do. So this is all in the interest of arresting Akamanto, or using the handcuffs on Akamanto. Also, that's right, we get bonus damage. Never mind! I should have just been... I don't know why so, yeah, I forgot about that variable, the bonus damage. Anywho, off we go. But it's good to think about. Let's just say it outright. It's still good to think about, it's just not a thing. So we take reason damage here. Okay, so what is going to happen here is we need to one-shot Akamanto, because otherwise we're going to die. Most likely. And as I said, he has higher power here, so... 12 HP, I need something else. I need something else. It will probably be a brace kick. Yeah, brace kick. Guaranteed because we have 5 strength, but... at least we get out, assuming I do these handcuffs right. Please tell me I do these right. Okay, good. I do go really slowly there. I know I have more than enough time, so don't rush. But if you're a bit slow on that, then yes, you do want to kind of practice that until it gets patched out, probably maybe someday. And we are in Kathak, so I want to do my rests now. So let's do our rests now. Yeah, up to 7 reason because we only have max of 7 max reason. So stamina I don't have to worry as much about. I have flesh regrowth kind of, but I don't want to do that either because we're on scars. So my max stamina threshold is already low enough. Basically, I'd appreciate a dull nurse encounter. But okay, so you said Dodo. I don't know if that's addressing. Please tell me if there's something that I said that was questionable. I will be more than happy to clarify. Because that will be probably more interesting to talk about than me talking about what's happening in game at the moment. But we'll see. I can now get a pack of cigarettes, but we'll likely use that in Metamorphosis because obviously we cannot visit the vending machines right now. Well, hey, speak of the dull nurse. So let's do that. We don't want to fill up all the way, but hey, RNG happens to be working out. Again, RNG works both ways. It could work out or not work out. Oh my goodness, I almost did a thing, but let's continue onward. Because I will say things that I know I'm wrong a lot more than I should be. I should be wary of being wrong a lot of the time, or at least not 100% right. I think what I'm saying, opinions are opinions, so it's hard to say... well, it is... well, it's not hard to say. Sometimes it's hard to determine whether or not it is... something is right or wrong immediately because you may not be knowledgeable in a topic, but it is what it is, basically. That's all I'm really trying to say. Sometimes. So just know that if I say something wrong and I get corrected, I do have a flexible mind. It's not like whenever some things that I say, I'm not going gung-ho in. I know that there are multiple facets or perspectives to a topic. Most topics, really. So yeah. Your point of view of strategy is something on chess, for example, shogi, where there are strategies, and it's not reliant on some dice roll. It depends on your opponent and your own skills. Yeah, and that is the more, I guess, if we're to use your definition on top of my understanding, that is the more pure form of strategy. Because really, in the end, I kind of go both ways on this, and by that I mean, so in chess and shogi, there really isn't luck. Let's just say, like, objectively speaking, there isn't really RNG or luck. However, I consider the fact that while I will use these as an example. I have another example that I like using more because it makes more sense, but immediately. But so if you don't know what you're doing in chess and shogi, though, it is essentially luck or RNG because you are hoping that whatever choice you make, because you're hoping on whatever choice you make, is the right one. Now, obviously, because you can bumble into the correct strategy on games like chess and shogi, it's just the odds of that are really, really, really low. Because obviously, if you're against a player who's more knowledgeable, and this is kind of where beginner's luck, the phrase kind of comes from, or it can stem from, but you kind of get where I'm going, right? You can make a correct decision because because all the variables are set, but at the same time, I don't think I need anything. Oh wait, I wanted handcuffs. Never mind. But in another way, I can also attribute this to fighting games, which is something I have a bit more experience in, where you don't know what you're doing in a fighting game, but if you happen to make the correct decisions, even though you don't know as much, then yes, there is RNG or luck there. Even though, theoretically speaking, if you have the skill, hand-eye coordination, so on and so forth, the ability in real life to make decisions or do things in-game that are the most optimal, it is RNG because it becomes RNG when you don't have that skill and you decide, I'm just going to make a decision, whether it's an informed guess or just complete, I don't know what I'm doing, and it works, something works out or it doesn't. So I threw those items. That means I'm going to be taking this encounter. And, we actually got protected by the kendo helmet. That doesn't normally happen, but I'll take it because RNG. And for roguelike strategies are usually based on what you get at the start, and you can strategize around. You can strategize a poison build with Stylet or Slay the Spire when ascending, for example. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? But again, even then, in that case, you would, if you're arguing that there's strategy in Slay the Spire and things like that, your own argument your own statement that you said earlier, I think kind of hurts the argument objectively, because essentially you might enter Act 2 or 3 and you run into a boss that doesn't rely on scaling as much, which is what poison essentially is. It's damage over time, so you're hoping for a longer encounter. And so then it's RNG still. But, I mean, I hope you get where I'm going with this. I'm not saying that you're right or wrong. I'm just saying that when you get... And that's why I'm trying to apply it on games that are quote-unquote... Well, I would say World of War is definitely more RNG than Slay the Spire. But you can make informed decisions and make calculated risks, I guess, is the more accurate term. But not the most catch-all term. There are definitely other phrases you can use here, but you can definitely make informed guesses, calculated risks in World of Horror, and therefore that becomes the strategy that you use, because it's what you come up with. That's the essence of strategy, right? It's what you come up with to deal with the problem in front of you, or to come out triumphant, to become victorious in whatever endeavors you are going through. But I do see where you're going from for World of Horror. When it happens in World of Horror, even if the RNG actually isn't as bad for the player, and I personally do think so, it's just that when it's bad because there are a subset of people like you and me, if we were to use this argument, that are just unlucky enough where our win rates are just not as high. And I think it's pretty apparent, right? I'm also about to die on Reason, by the way, so let's do this instead. Do I get out in one turn? Did I just hurt myself? No, I guess we have to throw the Kendall helmet, so we'll do that. Just to be safe. If we get bonus damage, we would have been out in one turn, but we're just going to play it safe here. because we're on Katak. We also have first aid, but we're on Katak, so let's top ourselves off now while we have the chance. But yeah, I do also believe it's very apparent that where I need to improve, personally, if we're talking about me specifically. But at the same time, it is also apparent that if you have average RNG or better, with the more consistent strategy and optimized gameplay in World of War, you should have like an 80-85% win rate, right? That's just what I feel. Might be a bit lower, but essentially a majority of the time you should be winning. I know this because I see people do it. On average. On Harbinger as well, so... Yes. So, for all intents and purposes... Nope, we're gonna be hurt here, so I was gonna say, I'm gonna use the anatomy book. That would not be a smart decision. Would I have flesh regrowth? Yeah, flesh regrowth. But more importantly, we get some damage here. Now, we do want to be aware of the damage bug in this encounter. I'm pretty sure it's still present, but... It's actually 200 point you dislike because I may know the game in and out, but yeah, because you may know the game, a player may know the game in and out, but if you're unlucky, well, and again, that's where at this point, I talked about it in a recent stream. I think you were present, the person speaking now is present for that. But yeah, you can face despair even if you're about to lose. There's still something in doing your best, and it's kind of apparent because, well, despite the, I guess, the quote-unquote bullying, shaming that has happened due to someone around me, it's not really bullying, but the point stands is that, you know, giving up is kind of cowardly, basically. If you, you can basically rage quitting is not often a very, you know, healthy thing to do, and in fact is, again, for people around me, like, we joke about it, but really, objectively speaking, rage quitting is not really... It is frowned upon. So, instead of rage quitting, instead of, like, being pessimistic, you do your best and, you know, you come up with... There are a lot... Oftentimes, it's good to look at things that way because, well... One aspect of it is that you often... If you are pessimistic, if you do rage quit, if you do look at despair and say there's no point in struggling, you often miss points in which you can improve upon. And even if it's the case where you don't, because you're just like, oh, RNG made, it was just RNG. That also, I think, another part of it is that it narrows your, it stops you from being not open-minded, but think more critically, I guess, is for lack of a better phrase, on your situation and other things you could have done. Even if they're not the most consistent things. Like, for example, you place an actual example, but not concrete example, would be, hey, I play consistently, but I still am unlucky. Even if that's the case, you may say, and I use this example sometimes anyway, but an example is that, yeah, we run a consistent strat, but then you still lose due to RNG. Well, instead, you can think about it in terms of, okay, maybe I want to, for World of War, maybe I want to just build into spells next time, even though it's not the most consistent strat, and it isn't, in my opinion. It's something different you could have done, and maybe you could have succeeded there. But again, it's not the most... That is certainly not the most consistent thing. But it is something different you can do, and if nothing else, it opens your mind to other possibilities to do. But, you know. You'll call yourself a coward then, not rage quitting, but you hate wasting time, and if a game offers no way out, feel like wasting the run time, something that wasn't... And again, this is not something, like, it's not exact cowardice, but you get it's that feeling where, you know, you're just going to give up because you feel it's RNG. I think this is something that you see often. Also, I should have just left the spiral hood, but... Because I'm already wearing the crestfallen mask. But... Let me see here. We're on timeline B, so we should be fine. Or, even if we're on timeline B, we should be fine. Yeah, and then we want to take a pack of cigarettes, though, just to be safe. And away we go. Something similar to World Horror at the moment, yeah, but in other video games, you see this as well. And I wouldn't know, again, different human beings are different, as it turns out. Whether it's a reason that's actually objectively logical or not, people are different. So when I attribute this mostly to, I might as well just be forthright with it, because I keep assuming that people, you know what I'm thinking of, but it's not the case. So, obviously, what's the game where you enter basically a dungeon? It's not a dungeon, but like a tomb, and it's in Battle Royale kind of looter game where you're in first person, and you can be with others in terms of like playing with others, but ultimately you are fighting against other people. I forgot what that game is called, but there was a specific piece of criticism that someone talked about, someone who I think has some time. They weren't, you know, it wasn't out there. It wasn't anything that wasn't Isaac at the moment. Let's smoke the cigarettes. Let me just strategize for a moment. And by strategize, I mean thinking. But there's a game like that, and basically it goes in. What's it? It has a dark-ish atmosphere, and there are also enemies like skeletons and whatnot that are there, and traps, obviously. But it's ultimately a battle royale with other players as well. And you can make builds and whatnot. And so someone had a specific piece of criticism on this game in that they're like, oh, I want to run, I think it's like something about running, I want to run this build, but it's so bad because the RNG exists anyway where I don't pick up loot. Or it's this, the game is pushing you to play it a certain way, and I don't like it, basically. And the response that this person got some of the time was that, hey, why are you even playing that class or whatnot? There were classes in that game. But... yeah, why are you even playing that class then when they just play something else, basically deal with it? And so it's kind of that defeatist mentality. It's like, oh, no matter what I do, even though I'm playing this class that I'm playing now, I'm experiencing, the game is working against you, basically. Or it's not, beneficial, on average, to play in the way that this person wants to play. But, again... That's kind of the mentality I'm thinking about, where it's like, yeah, you can look at it that way, but at the same time, yeah, again, the opposite side of that is that, yeah, why quit and whatnot. Sometimes, it's more understandable, but oftentimes, it's a matter of getting out of that mentality and trying to look good. And there are several aspects that I think you could tackle this in. You could tackle this problem with. The thing of, being able to be more receptive to different strategies, being able to keep yourself, at least in real life, in a healthy mindset, in that I did my best. Even if you get like teabagged in a fighting game or a shooting game, even if you get BM'd in a game, you look at it and it's like, some people just look at it and say, it's just a game. Yeah, people do it. Yeah, they're not good people for doing it. I did forget my second encounter, by the way, but we should be perfectly fine. We have 8 strength, charisma, light. Yeah, we should be fine here. I'm going to rest a bunch just to make sure, but we should be fine here. And there are other ways to talk about it. I'm just not thinking of it at the moment because my brain is going through what I have to do here to survive. Oh, we have Fearful, by the way, but we should be able to still survive. So, let's do that. Can I just go throw a Hail Mary here? Kind of. I don't want to, but... I really shouldn't be doing this, but we're gonna find out. If I missed twice, though, yeah, that would have been really bad. But anywho, we have First Aid. Square decided to buff every other melee class in FF14 except Monk, which was already underpowered. That was your favorite class, so you just feel left out and quit. Hey, as it turns out, I think I still have it on... Actually, I'm gonna check right now. But I still have, and I know this doesn't apply to probably the patch I'm in. Again, it's been a while since I've really tuned into FF14, but I have someone around me playing FF14 right now. So... on my channel, there is a... I used to raid, even though I don't like... I really do not like raiding. Did I say it like this? No, I didn't. I said it... I used the abbreviated term. But I did... Was it A12? Not A12. Well, I did A12 as well, but... Yeah, it's called O12S Filthy Casual Monk Clear. No live commentary. That was on December 9th, 2018. So... I dealt with it. I think Monk is basically my sub-class. I usually play Warrior, but for that raid, I'm usually brought into raid. Just to say it outright, if I'm raiding, it's because someone asked me to raid. And oftentimes it's someone very close, or someone I consider, close friend that asked me to raid. Otherwise, I really hate raiding. Not because of the people or anything. I love all the people that I've raided with, that, I was brought into, but I hate myself raiding. That's just my personal gripe, because I just like crafting and gathering FF14. The casual experience as we update our scoreboard, because at Kathak, we did not do a Kathak run yet after getting reset, so as I show you this scoreboard. Yeah, I got into Monk, and people said Monk was bad for a while. I mean, I see it. Obviously, there's a point in which you kind of go through the optimization, what classes pick. There are definitely phases like that in the FF14 in the lifespan of FF14, but most aside from a few exceptions, there are moments you really didn't need to play the most optimized way, but obviously it helps out, especially if you're, racing world first. But as we get to Azal, ill-fated, all perks, Ico. Ooh, this is gonna hurt. But yeah, it's been a while. And again, I'm not the best. I'm like a C tier. I'm a C tier raider at best. It's all this available is available. If you go to, I guess, Flogs, that's the site. But yeah, I wasn't exactly the best, and my pug experience has been my RNG in terms of getting pug experiences is 50-50, which is not good enough. I highly suggest you play with. I mean, at this point, you can go into a lot of content solo due to the what's the system called? I'm so sorry, I forget what it says. But basically, you're going with NPCs like Alphanaut and whatnot. They've incorporated that in a lot more closely. There's some pieces of content where you still need to pug, but still, dexterity, knowledge, strength. I would like to go back to FF14. I just don't have mainly the resources, but the time to do so. Toxicon and maybe second. And when I say resources, I mean I'm not at a state in my life where I feel comfortable kind of just relaxing. But we don't have a second encounter check. That's a good thing. Strength, we're Ico. Knowledge and dexterity, so possibly 6 damage, well, we'll see. Yeah, you can get followers, even though the AI still blows. Yeah, even though the AI still blows, you don't have to deal, again, if you enter a run, and say, for whatever reason, whether a good reason or a bad reason, you have people who don't know what they're doing, then, yeah, your run can be really, yeah, it is much faster to go with followers, as quote-unquote boring as it may be. I would argue it's even worse, and sometimes even more boring, to be in an instance where, yeah, where it's gonna take longer, basically, because things that should be things. But at the same time, obviously, you flip that around and you enter pugs for the funny. It is funny, obviously, in some cases, but also you do your best to make the best of a bad situation. So even in that situation, I tried not to go defeatist. It really does weigh on you, though, because you're actually in that case, you're dealing with other human beings, and so there's a human aspect in which there is, for me anyway. Again, even though I know it shouldn't feel that way and I should power through it, the despair kind of does kick in. But for the most part, I do power through it. It's just that that doesn't mean I don't hate the pug experience. But Arm Vigil, and also that I'm not much of a PvP person, but I guess as a human being, as I've had it explained to me, I like avoiding conflict in real life, so comedy is one of my defenses to tragedies in real life. So Arms, Vigil, Mermaids, Ramen, and Scissors. We'll go for a free weapon where I go, but we're also on Azal and ill-fated, so need to keep that in mind. But anywho, we are on Timeline B, so bow for claps, but FOUR for not don't bow to get claps and applause, but man, never play Lost Ark, pugs, or experience a lifetime, not in a good way. You're vaccinated in life because of the, yeah. Again, MMORPGs are what they are. They are social, I'm not going to say they're bad. They are overall, and I think they are, can be a healthy thing. It's just that, depends on the culture of humanity at that point. And even in that point, there is a merit to adding spaces on the internet. Now, whether or not you are policing or making the right, and I say policing in a very objective way, whether or not you are, creating a safe space for whoever you might be, whether it's identity, gender, or whatnot, is a whole different question. I think for more often than not, the internet is good for making a lot of good safe spaces. Obviously, though, there are a lot of bad spaces as well. Both in just the creation of said space and the management of said space, I guess. The modding, the moderation of space, that's said space. Lost Ark is the worst MMO community you've played. You've played a lot of MMOs, including the biggest. Even World of Warcraft is less toxic. To you, anyway, is the context here. But for anyone who doesn't know, watching now or in the future, well, yeah, I don't deny that. But how I sympathize with that is that, yes, there are games that I just will not play because I know, not the community, but in general, the community in terms of the audience is a lot more, I guess, just in general, not good. So, yeah. Also, clap sandwich by bows, by the way. And at this point, again, really, really malicious people will just look at anything that any mistakes or bad things that, you know, they assume that they perceive as bad and try to roast you on it, which is why, again, I don't want to deal with that. Not because I can't deal with it, but because I know better than to just put myself in a situation that would be worse for me in general, even though I know I can take it. You know, I am thankful that the things that have happened to me that are bad have happened to me and not anyone else, because I feel I am able to tank it in the face, basically, for lack of a better word. Vigil, Arms, Mermaid, yeah, so, I mean, I could take Vigil now for the Meat Cleaver. Hot Bath is an interesting one. What are we on? Is all, but we have Doom, so let's go with the passive recovery instead, and we'll take Vigil now. Also, I feel like I ran into something else. I think Maru was actually my first encounter, so we'll see. I mean, you mean that I'm saying someone go play League and get answer? Wait, isn't this game toxic? Doesn't this game have a toxic community? Yeah. So, again, in general, even the most toxic of, well, no, that's not true. Even in quote unquote toxic, in general, I think, in my opinion. Well, no, that's the definition of toxic, right? Basically, in a place that has a fair amount of basically bad apples, in my opinion, you can still look for the good, but again, whether or not you yourself, and by you yourself I mean the person thinking about this, are actually being healthy on the internet is can be a different story, I guess, but again, there's a lot to say on this. There's a lot I'm leaving unsaid, and there's a lot that people can jump in and talk about. But I think you get. I hopefully you get what I mean as I do this Ghost Ritual really quickly. Hopefully, I did it right. But some games already just pinned as toxic, even if and that's true. That I feel is true. Unfortunately, I would have to. In my opinion, there are more than a handful of games that are also popular that are definitely toxic in general in terms of the. I'm not saying the audience, but I think because it's not always on the people playing. I don't personally believe that. I do believe that the game itself has some responsibility in creating a toxic environment, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And managing whether or not the game stays toxic or not. So, and unfortunately, in my opinion, a lot of that is due to, in my opinion, again, the focus on video games and what they should be doing, focusing on basically profits, I guess, the business side of things, as opposed to making sure that a game is healthy, you know, has a healthy community, player base, in general, promoting a healthy environment, and some attempts to do that are also bad as well. Let's just say it outright. But again, that's. What I'm trying to say is the games do have a responsibility to maintain a healthy environment themselves. And I think more than some developers, creators, publishers, and whatnot expect. Because as someone who... I want to say I love video games. And who has made a lot of... I haven't been paying attention to Azal, by the way. But who has had games as part of their life. A huge part of their life. As sad as they may sound to some people, which I don't think is quite sad. I think any hobby or any activity in life, most activities in life, can provide at least an eye-opening experience. But getting back to the point, yeah, people need to be more aware of games having their own responsibility in making sure that the player base, the game itself, is promoting not just a healthy gameplay loop or whatnot, but also that keeps people aware and is promoting, or not just promoting, but that humanity as a whole stays healthy. I'm losing the words here because I can't think of what I'm trying to say. But yeah, positive vibes in general. Because there are games that can go over sensitive topics like violence, drugs, and sex, and still, you know, they're not there to do anything weird. They're there to showcase, along with the story they're trying to tell, that they're not. Yeah, it's things can be framed in a criticizing way towards things that should be criticized in a bad way, like say murder, like the abuse of drugs. And that's something interesting I want to talk about in a moment. Again, this is not professional advice. This is just opinion and my own observations on the matter. Please do not do anything harmful in real life. But in general, and yeah, you know, the topic of sex and violence in video games, whether or not certain topics are more normally frowned upon for good reason. That video games are not trying to promote negativity in general. And also just in general not breaking the law. Like, don't do that. Regardless of your own views, like, the law is the law. You cannot break that. And what I mean by that is, obviously in some places it is, I keep using this example, but it's an important example to kind of build this framework of thought, for lack of a better phrase. I am definitely lacking phrases here, but in some places it is illegal and punishable by, more punishable than I think human logic would permit, to be homosexual. So, I mean, if you search right now, I don't think that's an untrue statement. There are some places in the world where being liking someone of the gender, being attracted to people of the same gender, is a federal crime. So, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, because I am speaking from what little I've looked into on that topic. I am not a gender studies or lawyer, someone who is experienced, well-versed in law. That is for people who are well-versed in those areas of expertise to not critique, but talk about. But anywho, yeah, I won't go on that terrain, because that's far beyond the knowledge and expertise, obviously, of someone sitting here playing video games, playing World of Horror. But again, at the same time, just to kind of add a tangential thing to it, human beings are human beings, even if they might not be experienced. I always reference this example. I once had an art teacher who said something really profound, in my opinion, where they said, yeah, an artist knows the techniques and whatnot, but as if an artist draws a human being, or anything that a human being has perceived, then human beings, therefore, are also have some value in critiquing or having an opinion on an art piece. And again, you would apply this to other walks of life where, you know, game development, yeah, you may be a programmer and you may know how a game is made, but the consumer, people playing the video game do have some validity in their own opinions. Whether it's right or not is a completely different topic, but, you know. So I could wear the demon mask, but I don't think I'm going to do that. I'll take an out if I see it, like this. And we're entering our last mystery at 48% Doom. I've been autopiloting, by the way. I mean, that's partly the power of Ico. Also, that could have been really bad, because we do have things. We have funds, but we want to hold on to funds in general, so even right now, 2 funds for 4 Doom is better than 5 Doom in out of funds. But you know. It's despicable and you're the target discount. Yeah, so in this day and age, that kind of, it's more the topic of, you know, gender identity and whatnot is definitely a lot more visible when it was not as visible before. I do have people arguing, not the contrary, but I think they have valid points, but I don't think they're particularly right. But again, it depends. That's just the power of debating, by the way. I'm not really good at a debate unless I've done recent preparation. So when I'm presented with arguments I don't exactly agree with, I think the arguments have merit in the examples they bring up, but I don't think it's the truth. What I'm trying to say is, I do know people who think the opposite of things where I don't believe in, but I have to handle that. Also, I almost messed up here. I do know the ghost ritual. I don't know why I didn't do it. I'm autopiloting too much. So I should have traded stamina, by the way, but we have Doom to spare, so we can rest instead. But anywho, little monument wants, don't ask for a reason after no! I said not to ask for a reason. We'll visit it again, just in case, but yeah, that's a lot better. We'll rest one more time, and away we go. I know what you are in this country, you know what I am in those countries, it's actually death penalty found. Yeah, so I don't agree. I don't think there are a lot of, well, yeah, I don't think there are a lot of people who would agree with that in terms of, you know, the death penalty is a very sensitive topic, let's just say, and that I don't agree with it in a lot of those cases either. If at all, because But again, it depends on the laws of where you live, right? We're speaking about this in a very, not educational way, but in a very philosophical way. So don't, please, no one, I mean, you can take this out of context if you want, but just know that it's a very bad faith thing to do. Anywho. I do want to move on from the topic, but again, obviously I have a viewpoint to talk about, but in general, no, I do not believe that people should be punished for who they are attracted to and who they, you know, in general. But obviously, there are some parts of that where you have to just put your foot down, like obviously, you know, if you're attracted to the wrong type of people, let's just say, not good. We have laws in place for that. But homosexuality, I mean, you like guys as a guy? Fine with me. You like guys as a girl? Cool. So yeah, dexterity, knowledge, strength, light. I mean, it really doesn't matter because I should be able to survive no matter what. I'm just missing a lot of reason because I'm missing a lot of reason. So just to be sure though, we have a light check and we don't have a light source, so I should heal reason and then rest a few times. Otherwise, we're perfectly fine elsewhere. Do you have spells to forget, by the way? No. Otherwise, Azal would have penalized me a bunch, but without further ado, I accidentally entered this lighthouse, didn't I? Well, it doesn't matter. We'll do this and go on. Second encounter is easy encounter. Well, think if that would have been cheating for me, but I don't have the second encounter check anyway, and even if I did and failed it, we have 70% doom walking up this lighthouse. We're perfectly fine. But yeah, that's also just the power of Aiko and RNG on Azal. If I got the experience roll, this run could have turned out a lot differently. Earlier, anyway. But as we do a Tatsumaki Senpu Kyak with the meat cleaver at an 80% accuracy rate, you know, there's only so much that Takashi-san can do to stop me before Aiko just puts her foot down and will even just throw the meat cleaver at his leg, and he's like, ow, my knee! But then we do an Azal run. So for the purposes of, I think... Did I do 2 runs? Did I already do say? I mean, I'll close. If you remind me that it's not 2 runs, then please let me know. But otherwise, I think I will Zatsudan the rest of the stream here, because if I do another run, I'm probably not going to be in the right frame of mind to focus entirely. Even though, yes, normally I want to go for around 2 hours, but I think 90 minutes is the current average length of my streams, which is, I like to go longer. I know, I look at streams and I go, man, I wish I could just do 2 hours or more, but I mean, if I got other things to do, I've got other things to do, as it relates. And also, for the sake of the Nuzlocke, I definitely don't want to push myself and get myself reset, because that's not fun for anyone else. We're also here, a big part of watching Nuzlocke, me do Nuzlocke, is the gameplay on screen. So, if the gameplay is not at a level where it should be, I don't think that's healthy. But yeah, I think I did 2 runs. If not, let me know as we close out. If you have any other questions, though, anyone watching now, or maybe in the future, but you have to comment at that point, please, ask them now as I close out. But otherwise, yes, tomorrow is a Princess Maker 2 Regeneration Endurance or Batsu stream, and by that I mean I have about, well, until, if I decide to end the stream, I'm going to Batsu myself. If I fail to do the things on that stream, I'm going to Batsu myself. I haven't come up with the exact challenge yet, but I do kind of understand that I do know what I want to do. Otherwise, I might come up with something completely different in terms of randomizing what I want to do, whether that's getting a certain ending with certain requirements or otherwise. But yeah. As for Sunday, though, I'll have yet to decide. If anyone has any ideas, feel free. You know what games I play. Aside from obvious games that I cannot stream. You know the games I play. I've Slay the, for those who don't know, Slay the Spire, World of Horror. At this point, Princess Maker 2 Regeneration. I think there's one more that I'm... Stardew Valley, but I haven't touched that in a while. I could, but just like, so those 4 games I definitely can stream. Just know, otherwise if I don't get any, suggestions from chat or comments somewhere, then yeah, I'm going to just choose on my own by stream time on Sunday. But really, by tomorrow I should have scheduled the next stream. I really should plan these things out at least a week in advance, but sometimes things change for me and I'm the only one doing. So yeah, tomorrow I'm doing Princess Maker 2 Regeneration. That means a World of Horror Harbinger horror video will likely come out. And that's the current plan in the immediate future. As for game development, as I move on to other topics, let me just say something else though. Yeah, I wanted to make a guide video on World of Horror. I'm probably going to do a little small video on Regeneration first, because there are a few ideas I had, at least in this coming week. So this next week is going to be should be full of Princess Maker 2 Regeneration. I have not decided, I have not locked that in, but probably. And then, But yeah, as for guides and tips videos for World of Horror, I really want to. I should. We'll see. We'll see. Event of the day. We'll see. We'll see. A guide for World of Horror right now is useless in your opinion, straight up? Yeah. I mean, channel-wise, it's very evident. I'll tell you right now, channel-wise, it's very evident that I think the most successful version of that right now would be to continue making Event of the Day, mostly because that is more timeless knowledge, at least for version 1.01, which means we get and only get. For those joining in now or later later on, I'm just doing a Zatsudan, just speaking right now. We're at a score. I'll end the stream on the score that I have, but on the screen of this score that I have. But yeah, in general, guides are not really successful right now for World of Horror. If I were paying direct attention mainly to whether or not they're healthy for the success of this channel in terms of viewers and whatnot, subscriptions, whatnot. But if I just want to do it, I mean, to make a timeless guide, it wouldn't be a bad idea. People have given me suggestions, but at this point, again, it would kind of just be, what's the phrase? Not accurate, but beating a dead horse. For events of the day, yeah, sure, but for comment guides or something like that, just wait for the next. Yeah, again, that's the thing, right? What if the next? Well, yeah, what if the next update never comes out? But at the same time, yeah, that's what I was actually waiting for in terms of making a guide. I know I had a lot of people, telling me how do I manage Doom? How do other guides for Harbinger or people who knowledge that the average player may not know. But at the same time, again, a lot one of the bigger questions is that time worth the time I'm spending? As opposed to, game development, which is actually, it can, and most likely going to be the main source of me for myself, just both personally and source of, what am I trying to say? What's the word I'm looking for? Money is not the word, but work, basically. It's work. As opposed to this channel where, I could put out a video like that, but is it going to really be helpful to a lot of people? Or just a few people? Which, again, at this point, there's only so many commitments I can make, just realistically, because I'm the only one, obviously, right at this current point in time, editing videos, rendering videos, uploading videos, and so I have to manage all this, and then I'm playing 3 or 4 games, trying to learn those 4 games. World of Horror, obviously, just retaining knowledge, but things like Regeneration, trying to do Remake, just completing Remake. I do want a 100% Remake at this point. It's going to be easier, not Final Fantasy VII, Princess Maker 2 Remake, but Regeneration I want to make videos on, so do more streams. So yeah, just helping one person always worth, but yeah, just helping one person always worth, but yeah, for the sake of everything, I mean, I have put out, the tips video and the battle tutorial video. I think those are obviously those are very successful, but that's because those, in the time that they came out, was also helped by robots, because those came out in a timely manner, and I think provide a lot of help. So, to counter-argue why I shouldn't make, or to argue why I shouldn't make a guide, I think it's, like you said, waiting for the next update can change things, which can change things. There's other parts of it. I'm forgetting. There's so many things I'm thinking about right now. It's not really a lot, but I forgot what I was going to say, basically. So this one, current state is just not worth it. As opposed to other games that are coming out, could I help more people elsewhere? But again, I want to eventually come back, but that's if an update comes out. If at this point, I'm going to assume the next update, whether it's just more mod support, as Panstaz intended, because Panstaz did leave off on saying that he wanted to... What am I trying to say here? Redo how events are linked, because as they are right now, there are problems. So, but if there's a content update, at the ideal solution, or the ideal expectation for me, is that the content and the mod support update is coming on publicly for everyone on PC around Halloween. And that's why I foresee some people coming back to World of Horror. I know there are some people who did not play World of Horror when it released, so Hollywood is probably the... Halloween is probably the next point in which people are going to come back to it. That haven't since an early update access. But anyway, cool point of... I could make an easy tutorial on how to make a custom character and process stuff, be relevant to modders to become, but that's all you can... Yeah, so that's all you can see. And even then, I don't really have the... Well, obviously I made a lot of custom characters, but for mysteries and events, I have less experience in. But characters, definitely. That would probably help. I could amalgamate a bunch of things I know and are available for people so that they can do things. That would probably be the most helpful, in my opinion, too. That I would agree. But as for anything else, yeah, I would probably... I'm planning to do more Princess Maker 2 Regeneration content now that that game is mostly definitely a lot more streamable than Refine, but also making videos is going to be less intensive because I don't have to cover the screen as much. Even though that game does have, I think it still has, I told a few people about some things, and I said some things in earlier streams that were not true. So, but when things happen, you are for the most part, as someone with prior knowledge or knowledge on how Princess Maker 2 works, I should be able to avoid any mishaps. So yeah. Also, just in case anyone was curious, that game was raised to, I think, 15 plus on Nintendo Switch. So, yeah, at least in Japan, but yeah. I made one for you and I'm super happy. Yeah, I made custom characters for a few reasons. One of them being for someone, so for anyone curious. So I think there was some things. I'm not the best artist, by the way, but when I see that there's nothing, I mean, sometimes anything is better than nothing at all, but sometimes anything is worse than nothing at all. But in my case, yeah. So, but yeah, even right now, I think if you still check on the Nintendo Switch website, Princess Maker 2 Regeneration still lists itself as everyone 10 plus. Let me see if it's changed. Yep. But on some other places, it is still 15 plus. I think that's more correct because I have not done the complete test yet, but I was told that certain things still happen in that game. So there are definitely a lot of still squick moments. I know this because I was present for most of the part during the Discord stream of the localization team for Regeneration playing it, who did a very good job. I'm not just trying to pucker and kiss up to people who, you know, oh, I think they can have some sway. They really did do a good job on the translation. There's still some bugs here and there, but from my understanding from what was said during that stream, there were some updates to kind of put a parallel. Basically, so if you're familiar with GitHub has things where you update and commit changes to a repository, and basically that was not present for Princess Maker Regeneration in terms of, hey, there were updates made to the translation and certain parts of the game that were not added at the game's current release, which does affect sales because when those are still present, it turns some people away and can definitely cause refunds on the Steam store. But hey, for France, at least Peggy 3 for France. Okay, so again, it's definitely in that gray area. If you want to be completely safe, you can, you know, always just age restrict the game. But again, the game, I think, even with the topics it goes over that are kind of squick and icky, it is in the context of a game, and it's very evident that those events and topics are very frowned upon in terms of, you know, the subject matter that they go over, because the characters react to it and then they're like, yeah, that's pretty not good. And obviously it's framed in a way through narration that, and the game's standpoint that, yeah, it's not good. It's not, those things that you see are not good. The few that exist now, a lot of things, again, a lot of the CG and artwork for Regeneration has been touched up upon. And a lot of things, but I would say about 75% of the things stay the same, but obviously the localization, at least in English, is up to snuff. I forgot what other languages are available. Mostly, I think it's like Japanese, obviously, Korean, traditional and simple Chinese, and I think one more thing. No Spanish, that I know for sure, but anywho. Appropriate for all ages with wacky translation. The translation is on the level, basically at the level it should have been at for Refine, and at least to the, from my understanding of the objective opinion of an amalgamation of players. Because, yeah, Refine, one of the specific examples that in Princess Maker 2 Refine right now, if you buy it right now, one of the NPCs' names changes for some reason. It's not, their name does not stay consistent. Whereas, obviously, in Regeneration, yeah, for the most part, things are accurate. That's something that I didn't touch upon. I may have done it really generally, but accuracy to the original intent, if you don't have access to the person who made the game and don't know what they were planning to do with a name or some sort, unless they plan to change it for, say, a remaster or remake, you just have to go based off of what you believe, and what people believe. Apparently Refine, I don't know what happened there, but Regeneration, they did a good job, you know, looking into whether or not names or certain references here and there are actually accurate to, if nothing else, the intent of the creators. So, but yeah, there are certain things. So one specific example, as someone who's translated something before, not anything, the localization team for Regeneration for English definitely has more experience than me in this regard. But I do know the difficulty of hey, there's a name here, but it doesn't look right in katakana because that's not how I'll say this name is normally said in katakana, but sometimes people choose to just go with the name. But if you look into it and do some research, you might figure out that there's maybe a reference. And I'm not going to say, I don't know if this is true or not, but I feel that in a lot of Japanese games, when names are weird and like not, they're usually made references to something. And in the case of Princess Maker 2 Regeneration, specifically, there are a lot of baseball player names and Godzilla references. So if you're looking at the names and you're like, wow, that's a weird name, just assume it's either a baseball player name or something. It's a reference to something generally, but yeah. You look forward to watching me play it tomorrow, though. Can't play it yourself because you know what? Well, you enjoy it. Yeah, so that's the thing. So yeah, without further ado, not much else to say, otherwise I'd pretty much be wasting time. But yeah, playing Princess Maker 2 Regeneration tomorrow, still playing it right now I'm looking over to the side and I see an ice ball on the screen. So yeah, without further ado, anyone watching now or in the future, if you want to support me, you know what to do. Otherwise, again, I'll usually clarify that later, but as of right now, don't want to take up more of your time. So without further ado, I'd like to thank everyone who's watching this stream or watching in the future for watching, and I'll see you later. Thank you for watching. Bye!